And welcome to the Expert CRE Secrets podcast, also streaming on Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most commercial real estate agents and real estate brokers, they struggle with clarifying their passive income options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven brokerage strategy such as the eXp commercial model and purchasing investment real estate is the best way to grow your wealth. Hey, I'm your host, Brett Swarts. In each episode, I am joined by some of the best commercial real estate brokers, realtors, luxury agents, and passive income wealth advisors in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex brokerage strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. So I'm here with my special guest, and we're on a series here on making all things eXp commercial made simple, and we're trying to simplify the model, trying to tell a few recent kind of stories of some of those who have joined, and help you get some clarity in case you're curious about what this thing is and why we're so excited about it. And so please welcome my co-host for the next few weeks, and also last week, Matt Stewart. Matt, how you doing?
Hey, I am blessed. It's an amazing morning. This beautiful California weather. We're pretty spoiled, I must say.
Absolutely. We might get on the basketball court this weekend. What do you think? Is it going to be open?
I hope so. Had a good run last Saturday.
Yes, we're excited about that. Matthew and I go back probably about almost 12, 13 years now playing basketball. He was a golf coach at William Jessup University, where I played basketball.
I'm representing.
There it is. I gotta get my William Jessup on, right?
Right.
And so, anyways, you can learn more about Matt's story. I did a full interview with him, and you can go to Expert CRE Secrets on YouTube or search that on iTunes, and you can hear his story. So today, though, we're going to dive right in to just a few things that we experienced this week. And so Matt and I are having conversations with people every day, whether it be commercial real estate agents or realtors, luxury realtors, on why we believe eXp is such a unique opportunity. And so that being said, we're going to dive into one gentleman. He'll remain nameless right now, but he's a gentleman that I had the privilege of working with at Marcus and Millichap back in my commercial real estate brokerage days with them. And, Matt, this is the biggest challenge, right? He goes, look, I'm in brokerage and I'm doing some brokerage, but I'm also owning and syndicating deals. And so wouldn't eXp not be a great fit because I'm not just 100% focused on brokerage?
Well, I was going to actually bounce it to you. You beat me to it, Brent. I was going to ask you because you're on the inside with commercial, and I wanted to kind of get your take on his responses and how I should have properly responded back. What he had told me was that he's with we'll just call him Joe, just to make it easier rather than nameless. We'll just say Joe. So Joe was telling me that he's aligned with his certain brokerage because of some certain doors opened for them or certain deals potentially. And that he wasn't doing a ton of commercial real estate himself personally, kind of managing some of the things that he has in his own personal investment portfolio, but it was more of an alignment type choice. But I asked him, I said, I know you had talked to Brett a little bit, but have you guys ever gotten into the actual details of the model? Because the model really is disrupting real estate on both sides, both the residential and commercial. And, he admitted that he hadn't. And it's funny, as I'm talking to realtors, whether it be commercial or residential all across the country, and you ask them that question, that's a very clarifying question, by the way. Have you put your business hat on and really done your research about the model? I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're approaching people about eXp is they feel like they have to have all the answers, and they either get excited or they get nervous, either one, and they kind of have what I say diarrhea of the mouth, and they start talking about the opportunity, and it's like they're trying to sell them right there. And I think that's a huge mistake. I think you're better off to rely on a tool. For example, we utilize a video pretty extensively, and the tool really, Brett, is just it's a filter. Its job is to sift and sort and identify those that are interested and those that aren't, and stop wasting time trying to convince those that aren't, and spend time on those that are interested, that want to learn more, right? And that actually is very freeing energy wise, because I think because we believe in it so much, right? We're so excited about the opportunity. We're on the inside now. We made the commitment. We're in. And all of a sudden it just starts opening up like this flower, because we're on the inside and we see all the benefits and all the, opportunities that eXp provides, that we get so doggone excited that everybody should see this and everybody would do it if they just would take the time to look at it, which is a great belief to have. I have that belief. But I have to pull the reins back sometimes and go, you know what? It's a timing thing for people. Life is about timing. And, you just want to work with those that are looking, that the timing is lined up right. And we say it all the time. No is not no. It's just not right now. And that's same in real estate sales too, right? If I'm not selling, well, they're going to sell eventually, and so on, right? But anyway, so I wanted to ask you, so Joe, right? He said, "Hey, I'm kind of in alignment with my current brokerage, and I don't know if it's a boutique brokerage or not. I think you probably know more about it, but how would you handle this? Because you had talked to him last year, I think, and he kind of wasn't. How was his last year?
Yeah. So I guess to start with last year. So last year I was just jumping into eXp. I think it's been about 9 months now. And so, and by the way, when I first jumped in, I said, I'm not going to recruit, or I'm just going to keep doing my thing. In fact, my thing is capital gains tax solutions, right? And where with the Deferred Sales Trust training, I mean, I'm really 95% there, 5% commercial real estate brokerage. And so I remember telling you, I told you, Don Yoakum, who opened 30 KW offices, and then you're Tom Daves, #1 Keller Williams agent in the world. And these are all part of our business team. I'm saying, hey guys, this is who I am. I had actually literally the same objection in a way, where I'm going, I don't want to be distracted and I don't want to be pulled away. And you guys are going to like, hey, as much as you want to jump in and be entrepreneurial with this and sell real estate and recruit, it's up to you. Like, this is only going to enhance your opportunity. Like, it wasn't a takeaway, right? I think sometimes even myself, and especially for those who are looking at eXp from the outside, they're saying, if I do that, it's taking me away from something else, right? It's limiting my opportunities, right? It's not enhancing. There's not synergy there. There's no way there could be this amount of synergy and this amount of networking and this amount of connection. And that's exactly what it's been for me. Literally about 3 months into it, or even a month into it, I was going to some of the mastermind meetings. They're training us like the best real estate training. I'm like, these guys are training us how to help our clients. They're collaborating. They're sharing their secrets, right? They're encouraging the leadership, the vision, which, by the way, Jeffrey Finn, which is really interesting, eXp Commercial just had a eXp Commercial Explained. They have it every Thursday, and they brought on Jeffrey Finn. And for those who don't know who Jeffrey Finn, I didn't know who he was either, but he's the founder of NAI Global, okay, which is a huge, amazing, successful, like, Cushman Wakefield, Marcus and Millichap, CB Richard Ellis. NAI Global is a very, very respected, innovative, forward-thinking type of commercial real estate firm, kind of more forward-thinking than most, and they're very respected. And he joined eXp, and so he's telling his story. And what's really interesting, he talks about the vision, leadership, and strategy, and how over years and years and years he's been approached with people trying to change the old school way of doing brokerage. And he'd always look at it and say, hey, good luck. I don't see it. But he saw it almost instantaneous. And one of the quotes he has was, one of the things he said, it's a change in how business is getting done right now. And, COVID-19 has intensified the online, mobile, work from anywhere environment. In fact, that's become the kind of the new way of doing things, right? The world's in change, and you're looking at lots of old models that have multiple layers of management, multiple lease costs, a lot of overhead. And he goes, what really made it for him was, he says, you have a chance to grow with a company and be a part of the ownership, in a sense that you have stock in the company and you get stock for selling real estate. And he goes, all the money, instead of going to somebody else, they revenue share, right? And he goes, so it makes sense. So he joined. So for me, it's sometimes just telling those stories and understanding, why others are looking at it, and then taking the pride out of the way, right? And saying, hey, maybe I had something, maybe I missed something. Does that make sense, Matt?
It does, and I do think pride comes into it to a degree, and I don't know that it's kind of thinking this through. I don't know that it's necessarily an unhealthy pride. I think it's more of if you don't know your identity, then you can feel like you're potentially always on shaky ground to a degree. So when somebody comes with so let's say you've made your decision, you're going this course of, this direction, whatever it may be, I don't know, Marcus and Millichap, let's say. And then somebody comes and approaches you with a eXp. Well, I think for a lot of people, when they've made a decision to go a certain direction, it's hard for them to course correct. And I don't know if it's whether they feel like, well, I'd be admitting that I was wrong, maybe, or they just get stubborn and they don't want to divert their focus, which I totally understand the power of focus. Well, I'll tell you what, here's a story. I was talking to a prospect yesterday. And he just moved over to a Keller Williams office. He's been there just before the pandemic started. And he went from an independent brokerage. This is on the resi side. Went from an independent brokerage of 6 years, was probably the top dog there. Then moved over to Keller Williams, and this office is the number one office in their whole area. And he said, what's really motivating for me? Oh, and he was open-minded to the aspect of eXp, which is a little different. A lot of people are like, well, no, I just moved here. I'm good. I've made my decision. I got to stick with it, right? Made my bed. I'm going to sleep in it. But he wasn't. He just said, look, I'm open to learning. I'm not looking at making a move till at least the end of the year. And I said, okay, well, that's interesting. And he goes, yeah, I just feel like I want to climb to the top of this mountain. Every day I go in and I look at the board, of all the sales and everything. And, and I'm rising up the ranks here. I'm number 3 and I'm gunning for the number 1 realtor in the whole area. And I said, man, that's commendable. I mean, that is great to have that drive and motivation in those goals. I commend you in that, and I encourage you and support you in that. But have you ever thought that, you're pushing to climb and be the top of that mountain, right? But what would happen if you get to the top of that mountain and then you look over and there's another mountain that's far bigger and superior and so on, and the energy and time and the focus you use to climb this mountain, which you thought was the big deal, turns out you were, potentially you could have climbed a much better, bigger mountain with much greater rewards. It's kind of like that, you're climbing that corporate ladder and then you find out the ladder's leaning on the wrong building,
100%.
And he goes, no, that's a great point. I said, that's why I think you really should take a look at eXp, quite frankly, and learn the model. It's a safe spot because you're not making a move. You made it clear to me you're not moving till the end of the year. So let's just explore. And what's interesting is then that the pressure comes down. They go, okay, you've already said you're not going to try to get me or, whatever they're thinking. And then they can really just explore the model. And they kind of go, well, that's interesting. I can have ownership in the company. And wow, this revenue share pays a lot more than, in his case, profit share, which he wasn't even expecting to get. And now all of a sudden they start being more open-minded to it. So I was thinking, maybe we could incorporate that with Bob, the guy we were talking about earlier, commercial guy.
Oh, you mean Joe?
Joe, yes, Joe, Bob.
Yeah, we're leaving the names nameless. No, I agree with you 100%. And a couple things that stick out, right? And I think your initial question is, what would you say? And I think the first thing I would say, I'd go back to the foundational reason on why I've joined eXp Commercial, eXp, right? It's the ability to get on the right side of the quadrant. And what's the quadrant? It's the cash flow quadrant, right? It's it's the Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so we've taken that and we've kind of coined rich broker, poor broker. Not that
Oh,
any brokers out there are poor, in the sense of not doing deals. I'm
yeah.
sure you're doing a lot of deals and you're doing well. But you should ask yourself, are you on the 1099 W-2 side, or are you on the business owner investor side? And so if you look at that quadrant, you have to ask yourself, where's your income opportunities, and what are you trading time for, commissions for, versus trading time for commissions plus stock ownership plus revenue share plus opportunities to grow a team. And this is really the key here. It's not just the money part. It's hey, I'm 100% in to help you succeed, all right? 100% in to help you to develop, and let's all bring our strengths without having to feel the friction or the tension of, is so-and-so just going to take my secrets and leave? Right? Is so-and-so, if I'm going to pour into this person, is he just going to go over to CB Richard Ellis or Cushman Wakefield? Right? It takes down that barrier, and it helps to align financially and strategically, because guess what? As we revenue share, instead of paying, I call it the billions to the big corporation, the big, old school brokerage house, we get to share in the millions. And that's powerful, right? When we can open up more opportunities to market, serve our clients more, have more margin, and essentially get on the other side of the phone without having to own commercial real estate. Not that we don't want to own commercial real estate. I own it. I love it. It's part of diversifying and getting a different income stream. It'd almost be like going to a brokerage that told you not to own commercial real estate, right? Like, hey, I don't want you to take income from this other source that could potentially, demotivate you from having to do deals here, right? And I feel like the eXp model gets you on the right side, and you have to ask yourself, is that place that you're staying at, are they giving you ownership in the company? Right? That'd be the question. Are they giving you stock? Right? Are they giving you revenue share? Are they giving you multiple ways to have income? And if they're not, long as you're okay, that clarity is what we're looking for. Clarity that you're on the 1099 W-2 left side of the quadrant. You're not on the right side of the quadrant. And if you're okay with that, that's great. But I think that's the key. If people can look at both quadrants and find out what side they're on and what the opportunity lies ahead for them, that's the game changer. Any thoughts on that, Matt?
Oh, I think you're spot on. I think there's a lot of wisdom there. So, residual income is far better than earned income, right? I call it the transactional treadmill. So yeah, you may make a great amount of money. And we talk to realtors and brokers all the time that are, killing it. But what they don't have is they don't have freedom. They don't have freedom, which is time and money, right? They got great money, but no time. And then, other people have tons of time, but no money, right? So you want to have both. And what I found with eXp is you're going to continue to doing your sales, your transactional treadmill, but it gives you an opportunity over time to step off the treadmill if you choose. Now, some people love it, right? They go, "Oh, I'd never stop selling real estate." I say, that's great. You don't have to. But wouldn't you love to have some choices? Maybe you just want to work with the clients that you just love working with. You take your top 50 in your 15 years of selling real estate and you go, these are my top 50 clients. I'm just going to work with them. All the others I'm going to refer out, or I'm going to build a team around me, and I'm going to, send those to my team members. And, now you're working a 4-hour work day kind of thing, and playing golf in the afternoon, or spending time with your grandkids, or, doing a lot more traveling, and because you have the time, but you're not worried about, whenever I went on vacation, Brett, when I was like really selling, I felt like this vacation was going to cost me 2 to 3 times more than what the actual cost of the trip was. Plane tickets and amusement park tickets, or whatever it was, hotel, rental car, all that stuff. There's a cost, right? And let's say it was, I don't know, $4,000 or something. But I'm looking at the opportunity cost of, okay, I'm going to be gone for 10 days. That's a lot of potential business, a lot of time of me not on the treadmill generating, that I'm going to be losing potential business. And then I'm going to have to get back and really hustle on that treadmill when I get back, right? To get my momentum back again. So I would always have this in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need a vacation, but it's so costly, right? And I'm like, this is terrible. I need to create more residual income in my life so that I could be sleeping in with my wife on vacation and money's still coming in, right? And now I can rest a bit, and actually unwind. Uh,
100%, right? And I think that's more than just the income. It's the team that you build around you, right?
yeah.
It's having those trusted people that you can count on, that you can
Hmm.
lean on, that you can mastermind with, that know that they're in it for you, right? With you and for the
Hmm.
long term, right?
Hmm.
And when
Yeah.
that, and that's really the exciting part. It's not, I think success is not to be pursued; it's to be attracted by the person you become. And the way we become more is by surrounding ourselves with like-minded people and going on this journey. I'm reading this cool book by Ray Dalio, and it's I think it's called
Hmm.
Success Principles, and he talks about these areas of life and the pursuit. And he became, I think, one of the top financial advisors in the world. He's
Yeah.
really respected, very 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 successful guy. It wasn't always easy for him. He had to build it all up. But he talked about it wasn't about the money. It was about this journey he's going on with people with him, with his team, with his company, and going through that struggle and those challenges together, right?
Hmm.
And so, to me, with eXp and the vision, the leadership, the strategy, the culture, and the financial model, they've got both aligned, and it helps me and Matt to be aligned, right? And Matt's
Yeah.
focused on residential single family, right? I'm focused on multifamily commercial. I'm also focused on deferred sales trust and building out all of our strengths, and as team members helping people to move forward. It's truly remarkable what it is, and we encourage you guys to go to expertcresecrets.com, expertcresecrets.com, or just reach out to Matt or I. We'd love the opportunity to talk to you a little bit more if you're interested. And by the way, if the timing's not good, that's okay. We're going to be here on the long term, and we would love the opportunity to walk you through what eXp is, what it's not, and how you can align and connect with us. That being said, Matt, we're running out of time. Any last thoughts before we wrap up the show?
I think just the aspect, take pressure off yourself. If you're checking out eXp, one, you should take a moment to check out eXp and put your learning hat on. But I think one of the mistakes people make is if they do agree to put their learning hat on, is they're just learning enough to be able to say, no, I'm good. Right. They feel like they have to make a decision. And I tell them all the time, I go, look, I'm not going to press you to make a decision. I think you should keep your learning hat on as long as you can, because what we found is the longer you do your due diligence and really understand, there's going to be a point where it's going to click. You'll have your aha moment, as I say, and you go, oh, wow. So wait a minute. And you had this, Brett, when I brought you on, you were like, well, wait a minute. Okay, I got this question. And I go, yeah. And you go, really? Wow, that's so powerful. I go, I know, right? So it's neat to see people where they do enough learning of it that it clicks. And so I would just say stay in learning mode
Yep.
and come alongside that person that introduced you to the
Mm-hmm.
concept. I would say don't be shopping around to anybody and everybody that's eXp. If someone approached you, they have everything that you will need to learn about eXp,
Mm-hmm.
and be loyal and respect them that they reached out to you and brought that opportunity for you to learn, right?
Yep.
And go down the journey with them.
100%. And by the way, I'll close it out with this deal story, or it's more of when I signed my basketball scholarship and I was in San Diego and I was coming back home to Rockland, and I was like, oh
Uh-huh.
no, I don't want to leave San Diego, but I got this opportunity to go to Rockland. And I was very, very hesitant to move. I wanted to stay back in San Diego, but my brother gave me some good wisdom. He said, you know what, Brett, the worst case is it's not what you thought it was, and you go there for a semester or a year and you come back to San Diego. I'm like, huh. And that kind of took the pressure off. It's not like you're
Yeah.
saying if you go to eXp, it'll be here forever. Like, hey, if it's not what we say it is, or you don't experience what
Yeah.
all of the wonderful things, then you can always go back. Like I'm Keller. If you're a top producer at Keller Williams, Marcus Millichap, Cushman Wakefield, guess what? They love to take you back.
They'll take you
So
back.
it's hey, are you willing to give it a shot? And if so, again, love the opportunity to talk with you about that. That being said, Matt, I appreciate. We'll see you next week, and we'll be chatting more about eXp commercial, eXp, the model, challenges, things that were coming up during the week. We're just kind of going to be documenting our journey here, and hopefully going to help you give some clarity along the way. Again, you can go to expertcresecrets.com and reach out to Matt or Matt. By the way, if someone wants to call you right now, what's the best place for them to connect with you?
My cell phone, 916-718-2979. Again, that's 916-718-2979.
Excellent. If you want to call me, it's 916-303-3262, 916-303-3262. Thanks so much. We appreciate you, everyone listening to this podcast.